My name is Allison Field, and I want to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Create Your Blank, where we share stories of amazing people who have created their blank. We share how they got started and what inspired them on their journey of creating where they are today. Our wish is for you to experience your fullest expression so that your life is full of joy and passion because you're connecting with your heart and in letting it guide your path. Today, we have Jeff Bednar with us in the studio, and I'm so excited to have him with us to share his story. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. You're a busy guy. So please share with our viewers what your current blank is, what you do in the world today.
Yeah, we do a lot of different things. And, I kind of think the overall vision is we're really working to create a stronger food shed here in North Texas, trying to make a profound impact on our community, on our environment. And how we do that is we've got a 10-acre farm where we do a lot of controlled environment farming. We grow about 300 different varieties of crops.
Wow.
We've got a food hub, so we currently distribute food for about 65 other farmers, ranchers, and producers. Half of it goes to restaurants, the other half is going directly to people's homes. And then we have a events company where we host farm-to-table events, cooking classes, butchery classes, and we have commercial kitchens that we use as an incubator kitchen for small businesses to help get their manufacturing license and distribution and that sort of thing.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's huge.
The short version.
Yeah. So let's go back. That's amazing. So I think we've known each other for the beginning. What year did you start your farm?
We started the farm in 2014.
Yeah, that's around the time.
We probably met 2 years before that.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that time, I met your wife at a meditation circle that I was attending, and Lee, and y'all were living in a barn, right?
Okay, yeah. Then you met us right around the time we started the farm, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Been a couple of years now.
Yeah. So you started out on a small piece of land, right? How big was that?
We started on 2.6 acres, and then about 2 years ago, we bought our neighbor's farm, which was an additional 6.8 acres. So we got just under 10 acres now.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. And I know it hasn't been easy, to say the least,
Definitely
right?
not easy.
And
Yeah.
It is, what inspired you to start your farm?
It was really an accumulation of a few different things. One was we got really interested in our health and well-being. I have a connective tissue disorder called Marfan syndrome. And so I was told that I was going to have to be on blood thinners for the rest of my life. And at 36, a couple of years after we bought the farm, I had to have an open heart surgery. And so we got interested in food, where our food was coming from. And at the same time, we started watching Netflix documentaries like Super Size Me and King Corn and, a few other ones that were talking about the problems with modern agriculture. And then one of the things is we started to, buy better foods and shop at farmers markets and eat at farm-to-table restaurants. We saw that, we live in the fourth largest metroplex in the country in Dallas-Fort Worth area here. And there's really not a ton of farmers. And so we thought, how do you really know where your food comes from unless you know your farmer? And then it was, well, there's not enough farmers. So how do we know next is, well, let's grow it ourselves.
Right. That's inspiring, and that's amazing. And I remember visiting your farm early on when you were just across the street and had the smaller area. And it's quite impressive to go into your greenhouse. Then it was just one greenhouse, I think at the time, one big greenhouse. And you play music to your vegetables and whatever it is you're growing, herbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun. So
now
in the mornings.
We've got 50,000 square feet of greenhouses now.
Wow. Okay, that is amazing. And just really a short time, in 10 years, you grew it that much. And you have 300 varieties.
Yeah, over 300.
Okay, that's amazing.
Leafy greens, culinary herbs, edible flowers, microgreens, and then fruiting crops like tomatoes and peppers, and rooting crops like radish and turnips.
Wow. So that's amazing. So you provide vegetables and herbs to restaurants, you said, half to restaurants and half to retail or private families?
Yep, home delivery.
home
Yep.
deliveries?
Yep.
Wow. So if I lived in that area still, I could order from you, right? And have it delivered on a regular basis, however
Yep.
that is.
Place your order online from my farm and then 65 other farmers and ranchers. And then you leave a cooler on your doorstep and we deliver each week to the cooler. And then you get a text message when your order's been delivered and you bring it inside, put it in the fridge.
Okay, that's so cool. And 65 other farmers participate in this co-op situation?
Yeah. So besides the vegetables that we grow on my farm, we've got beef, chicken, pork. We've got artisan artisan breads and dairy products. We've got meal kits and frozen meals, jams, jellies, pickles, sauces. There's over 700 items every week.
Okay, I must have been sleeping at some point because you went from that to what you just said, I think in the last couple of years, right?
We launched the Food Hub and distributing for other farmers in 2018.
2018. So,
Yeah.
wow. So that was right before COVID. How did COVID go for you guys?
Well, before COVID, from 2018 till basically when COVID started, we were only working with restaurants. And so we had, I think, about 7 of us farmers together. We had like a goat cheese guy, a beef guy, a chicken guy, an okra guy in our farm. And we were just helping each other do distribution. And we built that up to serving 130 restaurants in Dallas County, Collin County, and Fort Worth. And then when COVID hit, we went from 130 restaurants to 4 in 1 week. And so the very next week, we launched retail home deliveries and said, hey, instead of, no more restaurants, this food's got to go somewhere. So we started delivering to people's homes right about the time when there was toilet paper shortages and people were, washing their apples with Clorox and things like that.
Or using lettuce for toilet paper. That was just a joke. But, you use what you got to use. Wow. So that was a interesting pivot for you guys during COVID and into survival mode and supporting those who needed groceries. And, a lot of restaurants closed. So it was a good.
Yeah, the first year after we switched over to doing retail for a while, the first week that we did home deliveries, we did 3 times the sales that we had ever done to restaurants. So our business greatly expanded, but it broke all of our systems because we went from selling cases of things to selling individual units to folks. And it was just completely different. And then we were also working with a lot of nonprofits to make sure nobody had food waste. And we were able to donate over 65,000 pounds in the first 6 months to people in need.
Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's wonderful. So given where you are now and where you came from, what do you think is your superpower in making all that happen?
100% our superpower is community. And I've always, been part of our community. And that's one of the biggest thing is all problems can be solved by community. When you bring people together and break bread together, have a drink together, like that's how magic happens. And so we've been very fortunate to have a very supportive community. And, I try to participate and, go speak at as many events as I can go talk at and share our story and, bringing people together and just getting people connected without any expectation of anything in return has always led to good things.
That's beautiful. And part of that community, standard that you follow or abide by is your barn raising dinners. And that's one I've been to, and those are quite fun. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, back in 2018, 2019, I had a chef come out for a tour and we were walking around and he said, hey, I really want to start buying from you for our restaurant. And I said, man, we don't have anything for, I have no more, we're sold out. We don't have any more systems. And I had at that time like a broke down greenhouse that was in disrepair. And I said, as soon as I finished building this greenhouse, I could start selling your restaurant product. And he's like, well, what's that going to take? And I was like, it's about $40,000. And I don't have the money and I don't really want to go take out a loan. And he said, well, man, why don't we throw a couple of fundraising dinners? We'll get the money we need to build the greenhouse and then you can supply my restaurant. And he said, I'll be the chef. And so that was where the idea was sparked. And we decided that year that we would do a before and after dinner. So we sold tickets for like $200 for 2 dinners. And people got to come see what the greenhouse looked like before we restored it and then come back in the spring after it was finished over the winter and then have another dinner, but see it all full of vibrant plants. And those
Nice.
two dinners, we raised $40,000 and built the whole thing without having to add additional debt. And our community stepped up to help us build and expand the farm. And so after we saw that, we said, hey, we've got other projects, so let's keep doing these. And they were a lot of fun because we got to meet some really great people that wanted to support local farms. The chefs had a really good time coming out to cook on the farm. And so it's kind of changed a little bit over the years, but now we do 6 or 7 of these dinners per year. And we take those funds and we use them for farm expansion to keep growing.
Wow. Wow. That is so cool. I love that story. And I love that it's a genius idea on how to do it with no loans and just raise the money to make it happen. Now, that was not the dinner that I was thinking of, those dinners, because those dinners are, exquisite and, chef prepared. But there's another kind of barn party that you have once a year for friends and family and
Oh, you're thinking
connections.
of our Thanksgiving parties.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That is so
we
cool.
we do another one once or twice per year where it's profound Thanksgiving, and it's never on Thanksgiving, so it's just at some other point in the year, and it's a community event. It's free to attend, but you have to bring homemade food. And so we'll usually get, a couple hundred people will show up with all homemade dishes, and then we all share each other's food and sit and break bread together and just have a really good time.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And that contributes to your standard of building community too,
Oh,
of,
absolutely.
excuse me, not expecting anything in return
Yeah.
except home cooked dishes.
Yeah, there's definitely some leftovers that I get to munch on for a week.
Yeah, just a little bit. So that's cool. So what are some of the challenges that you face with what you do today?
Probably the biggest challenge is, I was jokingly telling someone the other day, I picked 2 of the lowest margin businesses that there are, and I put them together. We got farming and distribution, which are 2 of the most difficult and lowest margin businesses that you could possibly get into. And so there's constantly challenges with, losing crops or the weather changing. North Texas is one of the most difficult places in the country to grow because of its unpredictability. Tonight it's going to be 22 degrees. 3 days ago, it was 84 degrees.
Oh,
So,
geez.
plants don't like swings like that. It's a difficult thing. And then from distribution, there's constant failures and the van's getting wrecks and there's a traffic jam. And so our guys run late. Gas is expensive and variable. So there's definitely some challenges that come up with those things, but that's, weather related stuff. I mean, there's every week, refrigerator's broken. We had a freezer break a month ago that cost $6,000 to get fixed all of a sudden. And we had just spent $2,000 fixing it, a couple of weeks before that. So,
Yikes.
all kinds of fun stuff.
I can only imagine. And there are far and few between places, in farms these days, right? The farms are going in a style and it's a little scary. So the fact that you're there and you're providing that much food for that many families and that many restaurants is a blessing, I know, to the community and to the world. So that's great.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's the most rewarding thing about what you do?
The most rewarding thing is I think probably one of the things I enjoy the most is having people come over to our farm and having them try unique flavors and see different ways of growing things. On average, we'll tour between 3,000 and 5,000 people a year through our farm. And
Wow.
so taking people on farm tours, we had 40 kids here a couple of days ago from a homeschool group and, getting kids eating vegetables that they'd never tried or having an edible flower for the first time or, that spicy mustard green or, like whatever the thing is. I think that's probably one of the things I enjoy the most is just sharing my passion and our passion with our community.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it must be fun to see the kids get excited about it and interested in it and engaged in that process with you.
Oh yeah. I mean, those homeschool kids were wild. They were out chasing the chickens until they met the rooster and then the rooster was chasing them. And, it was hilarious.
It's funny. Those edible flowers are really good too. I've had those and it was quite interesting. I'd never had those before, but very good. Now
Yeah,
you do, it's what?
We grow around 30 varieties of edible flowers. So there's all kinds of different flavors and textures and some are spicy and some are sweet. And, we've got one that will numb your whole mouth and make you feel like you're eating Pop Rocks. So there's all kinds of fun stuff.
I think I remember the Pop Rocks one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun in your mouth happening. And I think at the beginning you were doing just hydroponics, right?
Yeah, most of our production is hydroponics, but we also have some soil gardens. We're working on some regenerative soil beds. We have some raised beds, just, you know, basically all kinds of growing methods that you can have. We've got some kind of experiments. We found that a lot of plants like to grow in different systems. Lettuce does best in hydroponic. We've got, obviously radishes, turnips, beets, those kind of things will do much better in the soil. So a lot of the woodier herbs like sage, oregano, those things do better in raised beds. So we've really done a lot of experiments over the last 10 years to figure out where each plant grows the happiest.
That's nice. Probably tastes better too, growing in their most favorite mode
Absolutely.
and tastes better. Well, cool. All right. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners about your journey?
Wow. Anything else I'd like to share? I think that a lot of people have this fantasy of supporting local entrepreneurs. And if you talk to everybody thinks it's a good idea, and it's really easy just to go to Walmart or get on Amazon. And so I think that, one of the biggest things that makes a difference for us is our home delivery customers that take the extra effort to go to our website and buy from our 65 vendors and my businesses, that they're supporting our family and my kids' college education and all of these other family farmer ranchers and people doing things sustainably the right way. And all it takes is a few extra seconds of your time. And yes, it's absolutely easier to order things on Amazon or stop at Whole Foods. But every dollar, that you spend on your food or with local entrepreneurs makes a difference for their families. And entrepreneurs are the ones that'll show up for you when you're doing a fundraising event. It's not Walmart, and I think that that's probably the biggest thing that, we spend a lot of our time and effort trying to go out and support locally owned restaurants and spending our money where it actually really matters for people. And we're not just another number. And I think that when you really get that concept and that grasp, that your life will be better, knowing you are making your neighbors' lives better.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that a lot. And it's true. We just want to click on Amazon and order and have it delivered. And, think twice about the source. And the source is important and local is important, and supporting other entrepreneurs and farmers is important. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So do you have any upcoming events or anything that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah. So we've got one of our barn raising dinners this Sunday. I think we're sold out for it, but on Sunday this week, we've got 8 chefs coming for an 8-course dinner inside the greenhouse. That's fun. And our next one is for Women's Month. We've got 6 World Food Championship award-winning lady chefs. And so it's all female chef lineup in March. I believe that's March 9th. And then we'll have a couple other ones this season. We've got some jam and jelly making classes coming up at our commercial kitchens in Fairview. They're all on our website. And we're working on another expansion project that we're kind of gathering investors for so we can do a 3rd location. So I can't quite divulge the whole secret there, but hopefully we'll have more to share with you here in a couple of months.
Cool. That's awesome. So how do people get a hold of you? Connect.
Profoundfoods.com. They can do their ordering on there, booking tours. That's the whole thing. We also love when people follow us on social media. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all the above, and you're welcome to find us on there. And you can check out all the cool things on a day-to-day basis on the farm if that's something that you're interested in.
Great. And we'll provide that information in the comments when we air. So that'll be fun for people to check out. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining me today. It was wonderful having you on the show and learning all about your journey. That's a wrap for today. So if you enjoyed this segment, feel free to add comments, as we'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to receive notifications of future episodes, please click that subscribe button. And thank you so much for tuning in. And we hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.